Morning, this is Brian. Today is Wednesday, May 21st, 2025, and I'm here parked on Rancho Jamul Drive in the Hollenbeck Wildlife Area. I'm trying to get up there, Jamul Butte. This area is supposed to be a dog training area, some kind of hunting dog training area or something. So I don't really know much about that, but I'm trying to see if I can get up to that butte over there. Let's see if this will work. I have a feeling I'm gonna have a lot of burrs stuck to my socks today. I can really feel it. I'm trying to get up there to Jamul Butte. Let's see if I can do that today. See if this will work out. That's that peak up there. Let's see if this works out. See how this goes today. Let's see. I'll try to work my way around this hill here and see. So basically, where I'm hiking is basically trailless, so I'm just gonna follow the landmarks, get to the top of this knoll here. Sometimes you'll see a game trail or something. But we'll see. It's tricky getting through that fence, though. Kind of expected to be a lot of grass when I was hiking over here. Alright. Let's see. Getting a very early start today. It's gonna be hot today. So I'm not gonna try to be out here super long or super late. There's the butte up ahead. So that's my goal for today. Alright. So basically what I'm going to need to do, get across that drainage where all those trees are. Probably should have just followed the track over that way, closer to the fence. To get over here, maybe be a little bit less grassy, if you know what I mean. Alright. There's an old drainage or seasonal creek down there. So let's see what that's like. Alright, so my next goal is to get across this drainage here, right next to this Brazilian pepper tree thicket, kind of established in here. I think there might be an old worn-in track on this side of the drainage. This drainage is pretty easy to cross. Let me see if I can find what look like an old road or something. Maybe the grasses won't be quite as high. Let's see. I think I found an old path here. Seen something kind of worn in right here, it looks like. So I'm going to follow this for a while. Get me out of some of this taller grass. I'm going to look for a way to get to the base of the butte. Yeah, this is on Peak Bagger, and a couple people have climbed it. So I wanted to try to see about me trying to get up there today. I'm going to be heading right towards that butte. I'm going to be following along the side some old coast live oaks and California sycamores right there. Okay, looks like the little path is right here. It's not really a true trail by any stretch, but it does offer slightly less plant stickers getting in my socks. Something like this, I probably should wear gaiters next time. Yeah, it's very overgrown. So I'm just trying to get to the base of that butte. I want to get this hike accomplished before it gets too warm, A, and B, I can get out before the snakes come out. There's not a lot of visibility underneath these plants. I'm going to try to make this a quick in and out today. A lot of these mustard family plants are really tall, up to my chest. Most of these look like, ooh. Oh shoot. Maybe on the way out I'll stick closer to the trees right there. Maybe. Alright, it's a little less brushy over here. Alright. Heading towards the base of the butte. Then it's just trying to route find to minimize the amount of bushwhacking I have to do to get to the top of that. That looks pretty steep. Should be interesting. See when I'm up there a little bit more. Or on that side, there's a small knoll right there that might be worth visiting on the way out, depending on how much energy I have. It's nice and cool right now. It's probably in the mid 50s, maybe about 55 degrees. So it's a nice, comfortable start, which is definitely a good thing right now. We are looking at a pretty hot day today, so that's why I'm out here before the sun's up. Left my house at 5 a.m. Maybe on the way back, I'll stay more on that side. I don't know. Oh, dang. It's already 5:52. It took me a few minutes to get in here because it's gated, but it says it's public land. So, in fact, this is part of the wildlife conservation area. That's what I need to do to get to the base of that, and then look for a route to get through the coastal sage scrub. A lot of it's at the base of the hill, so some of that might be chaparral. I don't know. I can't tell yet. We'll see. We'll see how this works. Alright, so I'm branching away from the drainage. I'm going to start heading up roughly east right now. I see a fence over there, so that might not be a good sign. We'll see. I do have backup possibilities as well. So if need be, I can bail out. And this ends up being a bad idea. But looks like there's something on top, a little structure on top of the butte. I can't tell what it is from here, but like a post or something? I can't tell. Something really small up there. So definitely going to keep that in mind as well. That small butte right there. That one's checked on Google Earth. It's about 1,030 feet in elevation. I'll call it peak 1020 or hill 1020. It's not on peak bagger. Again, that's not a necessity for me to want to climb it. And I do see some possible routes to get up there. But yeah, it looks like the basis is actually going to be chaparral. Let me see. The base of the hill is going to be chaparral. You can kind of see. We'll see. Alright, so I'm at the base of the more natural vegetation, which looks like coastal sage scrub, not chaparral. So now, as I'm heading up there, I see what looks like a breach in the fence. If it's signed, then I'll have to keep an eye on that. So let's see, let's go find a breach in the shrubs. My route is more or less to work my way through the sage scrub here. Get up towards that fence and see what that fence has got going on. It's pretty open over here so far. So let's see. Should be at that fence pretty soon. It's definitely going to get pretty steep getting up there. But it's time for a challenge today. Challenge accepted. Okay. See over by the fence for an update. Alright, well. Yeah, it's all fenced over here. So I don't know if this is going to happen. Well, this kind of bites. Down there's the wildlife area, but over here, I don't know what this is, but it looks like I'm going to have to turn around. I know this area is fenced off for cattle. I know it's fenced off for cattle. Because it's fenced off all the way down far the entrance to the parking area. Let's walk around this for a few minutes. Because I know the area's open for cattle grazing and stuff, but yes, wow, yeah, this is a disappointment. Yeah, this is a big disappointment, very big disappointment. None of the trip reports mention anything about a barbed wire fence. This is definitely a disappointment. So, I guess the best thing I could do right now is just head over and try to visit that knoll over there and just move on. So I guess I'll just have to, I guess I'll have to leave it alone, I guess. Dang. This is total disappointment. And I'm not gonna try to cross that fence because A, I don't know what the ownership of the land is behind it. B, I'm not trying to rip my stuff up, rip up my clothes and everything just to hop over a fence. It's not worth it to me. Doing that kind of stuff is not worth it to me. That kind of jive. It's not worth it. So I guess I'll have to be satisfied with hopping that knoll over there, provided there's not another fence blocking that too. Just got to stay away from that. It looks like people's houses. But yeah. I don't know what the ownership is behind that. There are no signs on there, but that doesn't always mean it's all good to go, you know? Well, I guess I'm going to head for Knoll 1020. That's a shame. I was really looking forward to getting to the top of that. Finding a lot of really cool little hikes in the Magic 3, the Rancho San Diego, Jamul, and Dehesa area. Been really finding really awesome hikes. Alright, so I guess I'm going to have to cross the drainage and try to see if I can get up to that one. Alright, I'll take a look at that. Oh man, I was really looking forward to getting to the top of that. I mean, there are not a lot of trip reports on Peak Bagger. There's not a lot of beta about it. And the trip reports I did read didn't mention anything about property issues. I think I hear a red-tailed hawk screeching. Yeah, it sounds like a red-tailed hawk. Sounds like it. Making that screeching sound. I don't know if it picks up on camera. Alright, so I guess we'll try to get up there. And that should be a relatively short climb. Yeah, it's got to be a red. Every time I start talking is when the hawk goes, so I don't know if the camera's picking up the sound. I think I could see the bird in the tree. It's a dead coast live oak over there. I can see it flying now. Just left the treetop. Yeah, that sounded like a red-tailed hawk. I think it's the one that makes that screeching sound. Alright. Well, I guess I'm going to be trying to work my way up there. I don't see any fences. I could see that portion of the fence from a distance away, so I knew I was going to have to approach with caution. I knew that could potentially be an issue. Alright, well, I'll try for over there. Okay, so I'm approaching this drainage area. Where I crossed before was pretty simple. This might be a little trickier. Maybe, I don't know. This I'm going to have to look out for poison oak too. That could potentially be an issue as I'm crossing through here. There's these little coast live oaks right here. Let me see. Definitely be watching out real carefully here. Are these forastieras? Interesting looking shrubs here. These aren't forestieras, are they? Huh. No, these are kekiellas. I was tripping for a second. Forestieras have slightly larger leaves. Now these look like Kekiella antirrhinoides, variety antirrhinoides. All right, so let's see. Let's see what crossing this entails. Yeah, I do see some poison oak over there. Let me see. It's going to be tricky getting up this back side here, this other side of the drainage. Yeah, there's definitely poison oak down here. Kind of had a feeling that'd be a possibility, so I got to watch where I step very methodically. But I think I can see a way, if I can just get through here, I might be able to avoid it. Yeah, there is some poison oak in here, but it's not choked off with it. Not like I was wondering. All right, and then we've got spiny redberry here, right here in the bottom. Right here in the bottom of this canyon too. We got some spiny redberry growing here. Actually got a small toyon and some coast live oak and a couple sycamores and blue elders popping up. So let me go navigate my way through this, watching out very carefully to make sure, because there is one little poison oak stem right there. Okay, let me see if I can get up the other side of this gully here. I don't get the impression that a lot of water runs through here. I mean, obviously now it hasn't rained. It hasn't really rained very much in recent times. I mean, some light showers here and there this month. Okay. All right, so I guess I'll start working my way up this way. At least visit this knoll before I head back to the car. And maybe get into something really short to kind of at least get some action in today. All right. I don't think route finding will be too much of an issue. There'll be just some coastal sage scrub. We got some coastal sage scrub around here, but it doesn't look like too much bushwhacking. There's been some minor bushwhacking, and I'm talking about mostly wild radish plants that were really tall. Coming across a really curious plant here I failed to identify the first time I saw it. It's this here. I assume this was in the mustard family, but I'm not sure. I saw this on my Mount Robertson hike a couple weeks ago, but I failed to identify what it is. I'll have to take another look at it. I assumed it was mustard family, because I thought I saw what looked like siliques coming out of it. Gotta do some research on that. I gotta look at some other plants. I was thinking of Mensalia, but Mensalia doesn't look like that. Alright, let's see. Oh man, what a shame. I was really looking forward to getting to the top of that. I had that on my list most of the week. I was thinking, yeah, Jamul Butte looks like a relatively short hike I can take care of early in the morning before it gets hot outside, but that ended up not being the case. This one's pretty steep too. All right, let me work my way up and get up to the top of this. That's a pretty steep one as well. It's totally doable though. It's not that bad. It's just definitely you'll want to watch your step and for animal holes. There's a lot of these wild grasses that get stuck in your socks. Yeah, it's a shame. I was really looking forward to getting up there. And I think I do see chaparral. That's the north-facing slope right there. Vegetation is a lot thicker and darker, indicative of like the big chaparral over there. Okay. Can be a little slippery up here, but I've seen a lot worse, believe me. I haven't seen any of my older videos. You see me climbing up scree in the Angeles National Forest. You'll know I've been on some pretty gnarly off-trail hikes. This is pretty tame compared to that. It's steep, a little slippery, but it's a short climb. Only probably gaining about 100 feet from down there. About. So, something totally in the realm of doably easy. Route finding is not a problem getting up here either. I haven't had any real bushwhacking up here. It's just wading through grasses. There's some laurel sumac up here too. Oh boy. I think I'm almost about to summit, I think. All right. Yeah. Just about to summit this one. Let's see. Where's it gonna be? Over here. All right. Almost there. Oh boy. Pretty steep getting up here, but totally doable. All right. Well, this is it. Peak 1020. Small peak, but pretty cool nonetheless. I'm on a summit, so I'm looking at the positives. Disappointed I didn't get up there, but glad I still got up here though. So that's all relative. This is it. Peak 1020. Peak 1020. It's about 1,020 or 1,030 feet. All right. I'm gonna get a sip of water, a summit selfie, and I'll start pointing out the views. All right, let's go start looking at some views. So I'm gonna be looking east here at Jamul Butte. It was my intended first peak of the day at 1,452 feet. Now, sorry for the sun glare, but that peak back there, I'm just gonna zoom it in over here. Sorry about the sun. Yeah, that peak in the background there's Lion's Peak. You can barely see it because of the sun. I can see it clearly. And then this is looking northeast. I was looking north. So that, I think that's the Rancho Jamul community. And looking northwest, I can see some of the hills I hiked last week. That's over where near where Lexington Peak and Peak. I see. Looks like I can see. I think it's Peak 1463. I think I can see. I can see Lexington Peak. I believe. It might be behind the folds there. And looking more towards the west now, we got San Miguel Mountains. I will zoom on that big, beautiful mountain right there. San Miguel Mountain off to the west. And now we're looking towards the Jamul Mountains right here, towards the west-southwest. I'm not sure if that's the high point right there, the 2,000 plus foot high point. What, one of those might be, that might be Jamul Mountain. I'm not sure. Jamul Peak. And there's more of the Jamul mountain range there. Probably be hiking that from Proctor Valley Road not that far from where I started my hike up to Lexington Peak and its satellite summits. So now we're going to be swinging it more towards the south, and there's a brand spanking view of the San Isidro Mountains. One of two San Isidro mountain ranges here in San Diego County, believe it or not. This is the San Isidro Mountains near San Isidro, the border with Mexico. And the high one over there is Otay Mountain, of course. That's a great view of the San Isidro Mountains. Very good view of it. Still have yet to hike in that mountain range. And then going back towards Jamul Butte. Oh, really want to get up to that really cool looking peak. Oh well. Hey, I got to a summit, so this might be a much smaller satellite summit, but a summit is a summit, and we do get some pretty decent views up here, so it's all good. It's a W in my book. I bet you the views up there are really insane. You can probably get a sick view of Lions Peak from up there, but I'm going to take a few summit shots, and then I might take a direct descent line. Might go probably closer to that knoll over there and try to exit out that way. Alright, so before I dip, let's go look at some of these buckwheats. There's quite a bit of buckwheat growing on this hill. Yeah, this is the foothill California buckwheat. This is Eriogonum fasciculatum variety foliolosum. Abundant in these foothill communities. Foothills, inland valleys, and lower mountain slopes before you get to the higher mountain crests, where generally the Mojave subspecies or Mojave variant takes over at Mount Laguna. That would be variety polifolium up in Mount Laguna. And then variety fasciculatum takes over much closer to the coast. But this is the inland one, probably the most one of the most common variants of the California buckwheat, and it's getting ready to bloom. So these hills are going to be turning patchy white as the other plant's starting to wind down. The San Diego bush sunflower right here, Bahiopsis laciniata, was still going at a pretty good clip, but it's definitely past its peak. So these are going to start senescing and turning into seeds, and the plant's going to go into summer dormancy. But yeah, it's a pretty nice little perch. I kind of figured I'd at least make it up here, but I was definitely fully expecting to get up there without any issues. So a little disappointed in that, but to just simply consider this a consolation, I mean, it may be true in some instant, but it's not just a consolation. It's another summit, and at least I made it to a summit. So let's take the positivity, let's take the positive vibe out of that. And I'm gonna start working my way down. I'm gonna start heading down this way. Hopefully this won't turn into a big bushwhack. It might. It looks like vegetation is a little taller here, but we'll see. But I definitely would like to go down by that drainage. They seem like some old coast live oaks, so on the way back, might want to explore a little bit of that. It looks like I'm going to make a little bit of a loop today. I'm glad I came up here. This is a cool peak. It's not a hugely prominent peak. I think it's got about 80 feet of prominence, 80, 90 feet. So it's more of a small hill, but you know how I look at it. You've seen enough of my videos, and it might not seem like it's very insightful just by using the words alone, but a hill is a hill, a peak is a peak, a mountain is a mountain, a summit is a summit. So it might not sound profound, it sounds kind of redundant, but with somebody like me, it just all it did is just me appreciating the fact that being on a summit. So let's put it that way. So yes, Jamul Butte will be in the thumbnail for the video because I did attempt to climb it, but unfortunately it's going to be in the fail category. Unless I could find another route to get up there that doesn't involve fence. But as we're starting to turn our seasons, getting closer to summer, my hikes are going to probably start happening more near the coast and in the mountains before the mountains heat up too much. So when I go on vacation in 2 weeks, about 2 weeks, I'll be on a short 6-day vacation. So it's just going to be long enough for me to travel like I did early June last year when I went to the San Jacinto, San Bernardino, and San Gabriel mountains. So 3 days, 3 mountain ranges, and a good few summits visited then too. So that should be interesting. All right. So let's see. Maybe I'll head towards that little swale down there. Definitely want to get close to some of those oak trees. Especially there's some looks like a huge old coast live oak over there. So let's see what's popping off over there. All right, down I go. All right, so far my route down has been pretty uneventful. It's been pretty easy actually. Very easy. Very easy descent. No real bushwhacking yet. Let's see. Let's see what happens when I head right towards this gully here. Might have to side hill the bottom of that gully though, because it looks very lush in there. So I'm assuming poison oak is going to be in there. So I'm just going to head down this gully right here until I get towards the bottom, and then I'm going to check, obviously look around and see what's going on. Yeah, this gully is definitely less brushy than the hillside. And the hills, up until entering this gully, the brush isn't that bad. The most bushwhacking I've had on this hike was actually chest and chin high invasive mustard family plants, like wild radish and stuff like that, that it's not hard to bushwhack through, but when it gets warm and really sunny outside, you're gonna want to watch out where you step because of snakes and stuff. Alright, so I'm just about getting down towards the bottom of this gully here. I might side hill this one because I do not want to get into poison oak down there. There is some growing in the area, so let's see. All right, there's beautiful coast live oak right here. Let me see. Doesn't look like there's too much of any poison oak action, but I think I do see. Yeah, I think I do see some. I think I do see some from up here. Let's see. Let me see. I'll just very carefully go down this. I do see some poison oak in here. All right. I'm very careful where I step. Yeah, there's some right there. Doesn't seem to be choking up the whole ravine though, which is a good thing. Just watch where I step. Doesn't seem to be too prevalent here, thank God. Okay. I think I see an exit strategy right over here, actually. Alright. Not too bad. There's some poison oak in here, but it's really not all that pervasive. Alright. I'm just being extra careful. There's a spiny redberry seedling right there. Okay. Okay, pretty uneventful. Yeah, there's a little bit of it in here, but it's not ridiculous. It's pretty, yeah, it's just mostly growing along the stream bank, or this old creek bed here. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this along here. And this beautiful little section of coast live oaks. There's one small California sycamore right here. One nice little sycamore tree. Let's see. And there's our 3 leaflet buddy there that we can admire from a distance, but not want to touch it. Yeah, that's a nice little area here. Okay, I'm gonna get above here. Yeah, looks like this tree. Well, this tree used to be twice as large before a piece of it broke off. I was checking to see if there are any Engelmann oaks around here, but I don't see any. So far, these are all coast live oaks with an occasional sycamore pockmarking the landscape. So I guess we'll follow just above, just to try to stay out of the poison oak zone. It's a very beautiful area. Oh, there's a nice decent sized toyon in there too. That shrub right there in the middle. That's a toyon right there. Toyons and coast live oaks are like best friends. Where there's coast live oak, most of the time there's going to be toyon. Wherever there's toyon, most of the time there's going to be coast live oak. It's not always a tried and true thing, but it's very common. In some areas, there are so many of both of them. So let's see. Look at here, yeah. These aren't humongous trees, but they're definitely gorgeous. So yes, this is going to be a day where you get home, checking for ticks, and you're picking burrs out of your socks, unless you got big gaiters on your legs. So I'm going to follow above this and probably recross it again when it's getting closer to getting back to my car. Just want to follow this little pastoral landscape here for a little while, because I got to cross over. My car is going to be over that way, kind of over that small rise just in the near background. So let's go see. This is a nice little coast live oak woodland here. So let's go follow just above the poison oak zone and check it out. There's another little patch of poison oak right there. Wow, yeah, this is nice. There was a pretty large coast live oak somewhere around here too. It was on that side of the stream bed. Was it on that side? There was a pretty big one in the area. I'm trying to see. You gotta go watch out for animal burrows and stuff. Where did I see it? I know I saw a pretty decent sized one. Oh, I think it's further down. It's much further down. All right. Yeah, this is pretty enchanted. There's a little bit extra water availability here. Ooh, man, this thing used to be a monster. Oh, what a shame. That's pretty sad. Man, dang. Dang. This thing used to be a monster. This was a pretty big tree back in the day. Oh, that is heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking. Okay, so I'm gonna go duck under it twice. Man, that's sad. A nice looking tree too. Guarantee it was a huge canopy tree too. Actually, let's see. I'm just going to wander around this way. I'm going to stay a little bit above the gully for now. Very grassy. The old pastoral landscape here in California. Very pastoral. A little mini gully right here I'm crossing. There's a lot of little mini gullies, little tiny gullies like this little drainage right here. I've got to cross here. See if I can get a good purchase on the soil here. Oh, I probably should have stayed on the other side, maybe. I don't know. Kind of want to get near to where that larger tree is. I want to check that out. All right. We'll keep moving on and keep you posted. All right, so I'm actually in the old drainage right now. Right down in this little arroyo, drainage, gully, whatever you want to call it. It's a dry wash. Huh. There's one last little hurrah. It's kind of hard to see, but right there, Perry's Phacelia Perry. Still got a little bloom going. Here's a non-native tree tobacco. Right here. Okay, so now I'm going to have to watch where I step because I see some poison oak up ahead. Right here is a patch of it. And I was almost going to go head that way. So I got to really watch my step now. But yeah, this is Nicotiana glauca. Non-native from Central or South America. Yeah, just got to be careful where I step. There is poison oak around here. What I might want to do is just maybe go around, maybe side hill this. Let's see. I'll take a look and see what I can do here. I got some Nuttall snapdragon here too. A small plant with the little purplish flowers. Antirrhinum nuttalianum, subspecies nuttalianum. Seen a couple of those this year. Haven't seen a ridiculous amount of them though. Alright, so now, yeah, I'm still just trying to very carefully maneuver my way around all this. Because there is poison oak. But so far, so good. I've been able to avoid it pretty nicely. We got stinging lupine down here too. Lupinus hirsutissimus. No more blooms. It's going into seed now. Those are little legumes. It's in the pea family, the Fabaceae. All right. Yeah, this is actually pretty enchanted over here. If you watch out for poison oak and you're careful, this is quite a beautiful area. There's a small patch of poison oak right here. There are small patches of it here and there. It's not overgrowing. If it were completely taken over this gully, I would not be walking in it, trust me. It's actually a pretty area. I mean, look at the base of this little oak. That's pretty beautiful. Yeah, this should be a much larger one up ahead. So I'm just gonna gently follow this. Yeah. It's a little grasshopper or little cricket or grasshopper relative. Oop, I was gonna gently get it on my finger and put it on the grass, but it jumped off. Here's some species of Canopodium, goosefoot. I believe this is a non-native species here. I think it's a non-native species. Yeah, there's definitely a lot more Nuttall snapdragon over here too. So, the camera does not do the color of that plant justice. And there's some more Perry's Phacelia right there, bluish purple flowers. Really handsome plant. Be a great garden annual. It's an annual, so you'd have to reseed it every year, or maybe the plant will reseed itself for you. It's definitely a plant that'll brighten up your spring. And here's another Phacelia right here. I come across this one pretty regularly. This is branching Phacelia. Flowers are a little smaller and paler, but this one's actually a perennial. Phacelia ramosissima is a perennial, so it might look like it's dying during the summer dry season, but it's because it goes dormant to its root during the dry season, during the summer. So it might appear like it's dead or scraggly, but it's a perennial, so it'll come back the next year and the next year. And from what I read, it's supposed to be pretty easy to cultivate in your garden. I've yet to try it. I've never collected seed from the plant before, but it would definitely be a plant I would be proud to have in my garden. There's a beautiful native plant. There's some castor bean here too. This is definitely not native. Ricinus communis. Ricinus, that's where the word ricin comes from. Ricin were that very toxic chemical that's found in the seeds. At least, at the very least in the seeds of the plant. Okay, so now, I do have some poison oak coming up. So I'm going to need to maybe just kind of watch my step over here. And we got these plants across the gulch here. Those are sacred daturas. Datura wrightii. Sacred datura or western Jimson weed. Those are two names of this plant. There's quite a bit of it growing over here too. So I guess I'll go amble on this side of the gully. I think I'm going to climb above it for a while so I can get out of the poison oak zone. But yeah, there's a lot of sacred datura here. These are some of the largest flowers of our California native plants. Matiliha poppies flowers are just a little bit larger, but these flowers get huge. Yeah, this is Datura wrightii, western Jimson weed. It's a native. It sometimes behaves like an annual or a biennial, and sometimes acts like a short-lived perennial. Let's see. Stay above this gully for a while. Just trying to stay out of the poison oak zone if you catch my drift. All right. Very interesting spot out here. Try to get above this. I'm trying to get to that old oak tree. We'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down for a few minutes. Acorn woodpeckers. Your acorn woodpeckers going bonkers. Okay, let's see if I can get above this really weedy zone right here, right by this fallen tree. All right, here's a stately coast live oak right here. It's got a pretty decent sized trunk on it. Pretty nice looking tree. That one's a beauty. A lot of the ones here have passed on, it looks like. But we still have a few pretty luscious stalwarts left. That's got a pretty decent sized trunk on it. There's still, I think, a really big one. Was this the one? I think this might have been the big one, yeah. Yeah, that was the big one. The big one I saw. The really tall one. All right. Let's see. Looking at the foliage of these coast live oaks. These ones look like they might have... These might be oxyadenias. I don't know. I'm trying to see. Yeah, these definitely appear more like oxyadenia than regular Quercus agrifolia variety agrifolia. Definitely more prominently fuzzy on the other side of the leaves. Yeah, I think we got Quercus agrifolia variety oxyadenia. I didn't expect that over here, because the leaves on those are prominently fuzzy underneath. That's pretty interesting. Okay. All right. So I'm almost near where I first crossed the gully. Where I first crossed is this morning, earlier on, before the sun came up. I crossed right by that Brazilian pepper tree thicket. So that was where I first crossed, so I've nearly completed a loop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to climb over that hill just because it's a hill and it's there. That's all it needs. That's all I need to do. Just climb over that hill. I know we went partly up it earlier, but I want to see if I can summit it really quickly for a quick little extra credit, if you know what I mean. You know me, I love hills, small or big. So let's see what's popping off. All right, so I'm approaching the base of this small hill here. So I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna climb to the top of this one, just because it's there. And you already know how I am about hills. If you watch enough of my videos, you already know how I feel about hills, mountains, peaks, and everything. Okay, let's go ahead and climb this little mound here and see what's good up here. Okay, I'm just about to crown this one, I think. At least I'm getting another little hilltop today. It's a very gentle walk up here. Very easy. Grass is shorter here too, which is a good thing. Alright. Well, not a big peak by any stretch. Still a cool little knoll. Okay, well, hilltop number 2 of the day. First one's over there. Sorry about the sun glare. That's where the first knoll is. So I'm going to do a quick little summit 360, starting by looking west, and I'm going to go counterclockwise. So that's west by San Miguel Mountain off there, Jamul Mountains, south towards the San Ysidro Mountains and Otay Mountain. Sorry about the sun again. Jamul Butte. In the foreground is the small hill I climbed. Off to the east, northeast, back to the north. And in that right there is the Jamul Casino to the northwest. And it's back to the west. So now, time for a quick summit selfie. And I'm going to go ahead and start ambling my way down. Alright, so I'm descending the west side of this hill here. Should be down in a matter of minutes. Alright, so I'm parked on Rancho Jamul. That's Campo Road right there. So if you're coming from the El Cajon area, El Cajon to Rancho San Diego area, to come out to this Hollenbeck area, Hollenbeck Wildlife area, you'd be going on Campo Road towards Dulcura, and you're going to pass the Jamul Casino and Resort, which will be on your right, and the next major road intersection after that, you'll see a big line of eucalyptus trees and some pine trees, and you'll see a paved road, and that's Rancho Jamul Drive or Rancho Jamul Road, and that'll be where you can find a little area to park. Just don't park where it says no parking. And then right down there is a dog training area. Alright, there's a beautiful Jamul mountain range yes, I could see me climbing that when cooler weather comes back. Now that I know where to go, I've heard about that mountain range for a while, the Jamul Mountains, but I didn't have much bait on where you go to do it. And since I've been doing quite a few hikes in the Jamul area, now I have an idea. I'll be starting my hike from Proctor Valley Road via an old road or dirt track leading in from the north. Most trip reports go along that ridge right there. Hit the peaks. I don't know if that's the actual Jamul Mountains high point. It might be. I'll double check my maps when I go home. I think that is Jamul Peak or Jamul Mountain high point. And then there are other smaller peaks that also look very interesting. Because knowing me, I like to combine peaks and hikes. That's kind of what I was trying to do today, is combine the Butte with that small knoll, the Peak 1020 thing. All right, well, should be back soon. All right, so I'm nearing the trailhead. I'm just gonna kind of wander around this way for a short distance. Kind of see. I'm trying to remember what side, which gate I passed. I think it was that gate over there. There are two gates. Yeah, I think I passed that gate there. There's a gate there. You have to literally climb it to get over. That gate over there, I was kind of able to wedge myself in through it. So let's see if I could do it again. Yeah, I think I went through that gate closest to Campo Road. I think maybe I should get into something else before I go home. Still relatively early. Let's see what time it is right now. (7:06). So I've only been hiking for about an hour and 15 minutes. Been out for about an hour and 15 minutes. Like I said, it took me a few minutes to get started because I had to figure out how to get in here. Alright. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and round this. Yeah, this is, I believe, for training dogs or whatever. Alright. Just follow this old game path here. And there's my car parked over underneath the trees on the other side of the road. Alright. Just about to wrap this up. Just park right over there. Just gotta get through the fence. That'll be the end of this hike. Yeah, I must have gone out this gate here. So, this will do it for my hike. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.